Hey there, and welcome back to the Airlock Module Podcast. I am your host, Yuki Nishimura. Before we step into the habitat today, a quick note for listeners. This episode contains adult language, so listener discretion is advised. If you're enjoying the conversation here, please take a moment to follow or subscribe to the show and give it a like or rating. It's one of the simplest ways to help this podcast reach more people who are curious about space, science, and the human side of exploration. Today's episode is one of those conversations that reminds you why analog missions matter, not just for research, but for the people who live them. My guest is Jesse Forte, technologist, creative, product leader, analog astronaut, and the founder of AstrOnyx. Jesse has worn a lot of hats across tech, finance, automotive, media, and space simulation. But what makes his story stand out is how those worlds collide in unexpected ways. In this conversation, we dive deep into Jesse's journey through analog space missions from LunAres in Poland to ICEES in Hawaii to ICEES, where he supported mission control in Iceland. We talk about leadership under isolation, creative expression inside a habitat, and what it really means to show up as your full self in extreme environments. We also explore the creation of AstrOnyx, a charcoal-activated toothpaste tablet designed for astronauts and built for Earth, and how living in closed-loop system changes the way you think about everyday products, sustainability, and human performance. This episode is raw, funny, emotional, and deeply human. Jesse doesn't hold back, and honestly, that's what makes it special. So take a breath, seal the hatch, and step inside the airlock with us. Hey, Jesse, welcome to the show. I'd like to start by asking where you're calling from and a little bit about yourself, and if you can highlight some of the companies you've worked for in your extensive career path.
So my name's Jesse, currently in Phoenix, Arizona. As far as companies that I've worked in, from a tech standpoint, I've worked with a lot of fintech, a lot of banking organizations, but then I've also, been a mentor in the aerospace industry. But as far as private sector space, I've done joint venture and R&D for a lot of different small private sector companies, such as the ones that we're going to get in the topic about. But the biggest company that I'm working with right now is AstrOnyx.
Yeah. We'll get to that.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about that. We'll definitely carve some time for that for sure and let you plug your company in. Awesome. All right. So I had a chance to look through your LinkedIn profile and your experiences. You wear many hats and you've worn many hats working across tech, automotive, banking, NBA.
I was one of the hype guys. I was throwing t-shirts in the stands, hanging out with the cheerleaders and the NBA players. It was cool.
And then space simulations, to name a few. Let's get into those missions because you've done several. I think I saw a mission at LunAres in Poland, head of outreach and an on-site MCC support for the ICEES in Iceland, vice commander at ICEES in Hawaii, and then a crew commander at Astroland in Spain. Keep me honest if I missed any.
Let's not forget, IIAS parabolic flight simulation training at Cape Canaveral. It's been a moment of reflection and a cocooning phase for me, working on different aspects, to build the whole ecosystem. But definitely grateful for the experiences that I've had as an analog astronaut.
Do you remember the moment when you learned about analog missions and how did that come about?
Yeah, I had this really cool, geeky, nerdy friend. His name's Elliot. Shout out Elliot, founder of Spira. And when I first moved to LA, I had no friends. I met, Elliot through my podcast. And I had a podcast back in the day called Young Revolutionary Minds with over 400 episodes. I had, presidents on there. I had scientists, Hall of Fame, NBA, NFL players, actors, people who ran for president of the United States, you name it, right? And I had Elliot on there. I thought he was such an interesting cat, right? He's just like this like DIY scientist, like nomad dude that's like going around like, creating microalgae and like farms in China and Tibet and India and then in the States. Well, I got down on my luck. I was on a show called Cannonball. I was trying to win 10K because I just, I moved to LA and I didn't have a job and I was working all these side gigs, like just doing like all types of stuff, right? Like whatever I can. I was cleaning people's houses that like worked for Disney. I was doing whatever I could to make a couple $100 here to keep the dream alive. And the opportunity to win 10K on Cannonball, which is like MXC. And I broke my collarbone and my shoulder on live television after winning the first show. And so I hit Elliot up. I was like, hey, dude, like, I don't even have insurance. The hospital just put my shoulder back in place. They put me to sleep. I don't know why they put me to sleep. I was like, I don't know where to go. And he's like, dude, come over here. Like, we'll take care of you until you get back on your feet. And right when that happened, I had just started a job with UPS. So I'm working UPS with a broken collarbone, like
Dang.
putting boxes in with one
Yeah.
hand, interviewing for tech jobs in the other semi truck, and managing like 10 other people. Mind you, my commute, because I didn't have a car in LA, was 3 hours. I'd walk like 2 blocks to the bus. I'd take the bus for like an hour and 40 minutes. And then I'd walk another 12 blocks just to get to the UPS. And it was like
Wow.
around the time of like Christmas. So I'm like, God, please help me get out of this because this is a motherfucking bullshit, right? And I remember taking interviews in my semi truck while I was like doing this job and living with Elliot. And I promised Elliot, I said, I get paid like $436. I said, every week I'll give you like 250, like until everything gets ready. And I did that. I made my payments. And that was big for me, going to LA, and it reminded me like I am committed to this. Like, I'm not getting a lot of money, but I know that the opportunity's here. And Elliot's building his company, and then finally I got a big boy tech job, and everything's going well. And then he starts talking about this analog astronaut mission that he's going on in high seas, and I'm like, dude, that's so cool. What is that? And he starts to tell me about it and about how he's going to bring his products to ICEES in Hawaii. And I was just so fascinated with it. As soon as he left, I Googled like all the programs around the world. And I just started sending submissions like bing, 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 bing. And still worked my 9 to 5, still worked on my music. Music's something that we got to talk about too. Kept that in the back pocket. And about a year later was when I got my initial introduction into an opportunity to interview for the missions in LunAres. And from there, man, I just, the culture, the community, the people, like, it's my tribe. I absolutely adore the human beings that are fascinated about space, about science, and who are putting themselves, in critical situations to determine research and development for, moon Mars crater landings.
Dang, that's some story. I assume he went ahead first
Hell
on the high
yeah.
seas. Okay.
Yeah, he's like, let me show you how it's done, boy. I'm like, what do you talk about, homie? Like, I mean, like I get it now, and I because it's like sometimes we're all new, right? And it's like you work on these things for so long, and then you get these once in a lifetime opportunities, and then you just so happen to be around a dude that's like, "That's cool, I want to do it." It's like, "Yo, who
Yeah,
the
yeah.
fuck are you, dog?" Like, you just a roommate, bro. But that roommate ended up turning into that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it all worked out. Yeah, Lunaris was trippy. Well, for one, I applied like a year prior and didn't hear back from anyone for like an entire year. Was just like working. And I'll never forget, I was dating this girl who I found out was like cheating on me. And literally it was the day before my birthday. I'm like having this huge internal battle. And I remember praying that night, like I couldn't even like face her. Like I was like, I can't, like, I was like, God, like get me out of this. Like this is fucking horrible. Like I hate her. Like I was so mad. I was just finding my exit plan. And literally that next day, I get a call from JJ Hastings, who's like the head of R&D research for SpaceX.
Okay. Whoa.
And she hits me up and she goes, hey, we're doing the first all human, um, all American analog astronaut mission in Poland. And you were our backup. But one of the analog astronauts hurt themselves. She's like, well, do you want to be the
So,
guy that we bring
so
on?
you're in.
I'm like, hell yeah.
So this was SpaceX?
Yeah, this was actually in conjunction with SpaceX for the Inspiration 4 mission. So they actually
Wow.
sent our DNA up for that mission, which is crazy. But so this is the funny part. So girl just cheated on me and it's literally my birthday, right?
Oh.
And they're like, "Well, the thing is like we need you in Poland in like 32 hours or something like that."
Whoa.
They're like, "Can you get your ticket like today, like right now?" And I'm like, "Yes, I can." And when we hung up, she's like, "You're just gonna leave to Poland? It's your birthday." And I fucking broke up with her, bro. And I fucking got my ticket and I fucking went to Poland, bro. And I forgot about that stuff. And I was like, oh my God, like this is like God and the universe working so beautifully. My first analog astronaut mission, this chick cheated on me the day before, and then God is like, I got you, bro, because you didn't like flip out, bro. Like, I'm gonna bless you. And that's what he did, dude. And my life has been Totally different ever since then.
Wow. Alright. Speechless. Speechless. Mission specifically,
You
well,
wanted a
only because
podcast, I'm gonna fucking give you one, bro. Let's go.
that's this
You
is
guys
like
want to
off
know?
the
I'll
hook.
tell you.
This is the most off the hook episode I've recorded, and it's awesome.
Hell yeah.
What role did you have? How many crew members were part of it? And how many days was the mission?
I believe it was like 3 days of preparation and then 14 days total. So it was a total of about 17 days. And it was phenomenal. 6 hours outside of Piwa, simulate the International Space Station, ISS, former World War II military barrack from
That's
Poland.
beautiful. Yeah.
Cold War. It's just and then the team, the Polish team. Shout out to Agatev, shout out to squad. Like that's fam. I fucking love those people. And like if they ever had a problem, like I'm in Poland, like nobody's business handling it. You know what I'm saying? Like I got mad love for my people in Poland. But yeah, dude, it was one, two, three, four, five, six of us. Yeah.
Oh
Six of
wow,
us.
6.
Yeah, six of us. 14 days. My focus actually and this was the thing that I negotiated with LunAres and then also JJ was like, I want to complete all my responsibilities, but my only request is that I get an opportunity to work on my music, right? And they granted me access. So I actually created the first analog astronaut album,
Oh,
which hit like 3.6 million streams and like
no
went
way.
went went number one on like Apple Music and like Spotify at the same time that Justin Bieber and like Ariana Grande dropped like Holy and like 34, 35. So
Mm.
fuck the big industry. Like I did that shit independent. I did it in the fucking room, like the equipment room. And I actually have my squad, like they're actually doing like a melody on one of the songs. I'm like, ladies, do you
Oh,
feel it? Hell yeah. Fellas, do you feel it? Hell yeah. And it's like one of
no
the top
way.
songs. It's called Surfing Saturn's Rings.
Okay.
So the A part in Steam was big for me. So the art, the communication, sharing the story from this like black dude with dreads perspective, like fly on the wall, like the only black dude in like, you know, a fucking 600-mile parameter, and it was crazy because all this stuff happens so fast. Like I'm in Poland like within less than 32 hours. And then I'm in this World War II military barrack and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? So after like day 2 or day 3, I low-key started tripping balls. I'm like, this isn't real, bro. Like, and then I'm like, nah, like this is real. This is fucking real. I signed up for this. I get to live my dream. This is a dream that I tucked down inside of myself fucking 20 years ago when I was told that I could only be an athlete with the C grade level. And I'm like, now I'm fucking doing shit as a civilian analog astronaut. I've opened up a door to Pandora's box that I never thought was possible. I said, fuck yeah, this shit is real. And since it's real, fucking do your best. Do everything that you're, supposed to do. So I was doing, hydroponics. I was working on the food systems. I worked on, development and operations. I was working on leadership and EVAs. And, this is all very fucking new to me. I am not a space geek nerd dude. I'm not. I'm like, I'm a cool kid. Like, I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was just like, and so that was what was cool about this was like, I'm in a whole nother perspective. Like, I'm around all these like geeky, cool ass fucking dudes. I'm like, what is that? They're like, well, Jesse, this is the hydroponic system. If you, spray these plants 3 or 4 times, they're going to grow 4 to 6. I'm like, yo, that's fucking dope. Let's spray that motherfucker 6 times, and like, like the food, I'm like, dry food, freeze food, what the fuck is this? Like no meat for 14 days. So like, I'm like, this is diabolical. But I think that's so important for where we're headed is like space has always been about like nerdy mathematicians and jet propulsion engineers. And it's like respect, right? But like, let's fucking mix the pot up. Let's add some seasoning to this motherfucker. Let's have some fun. Like, when people go on missions with me, not only are we fucking successful, but we fucking have a great time.
Heck
Like
yeah.
that's what it's all about. It's about bringing a whole new perspective. It's about sharing your experience, and it's about seeing it from another side and inspiring other people, dude.
That's amazing. So, did you end up bringing like your own recording equipments? Like, how did you do all that?
Yeah, dude, I brought my own fucking recording system. I brought my own mics. I brought my own headphones. I brought like, my MacBook and I just like set up a studio in this fucking tool room all the way in the back. and I just like closed off the door like at the middle of the night when everyone was asleep, and I'd work for like 2, 3 hours, and then I'd wake up at like in 3 hours and like train, work out, and then fucking go back to the missions, do spacesuit training, do EVAs, like do the hydroponic system, hang out with the squad, like just it's fucking dope, you know?
Dang.
And then I like the last couple of days. Oh, and I built a fucking music video of the whole experience. It's sick. And then I presented it at the Analog Astronaut Conference
Oh.
as the newest analog astronaut. And I mean, dude, standing ovation, music video, and then I performed my music, the whole album, dude. I had the
Oh,
whole squad.
what?
I had astronauts like with their fucking lights out, like, motherfuckers. I'm like, yeah, 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 throw the motherfucking hands up. Throw the motherfucking hands up. Dr. Simon Proctor was out there. The dude that built Tetris was fucking like, Jay Forte, Jay Forte. It's fucking full moon outside in the middle of the dark. Like, and then I became like the headline performer for the Analog Astronaut Conference for the last like 4 years. They're
Oh,
like,
wow.
yeah, yeah. And then my team from Poland literally flew out to support like that whole experience and the mission. They got to see the video and everything. And I looked crazy because I'm like, yeah, I'm working on this video, this music video. They're like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Like, I'm like, it's gonna be so sick. Like, I'm gonna share this to the world. And then when they came and they're like, Jesse, we love. This is amazing. That's the A in STEAM, you know? So so they loved it. I loved it. And it gave me this foot in the door because now all these other programs are like, oh shit, can you fucking do that for us? Like, can you like be that artist, that shares your experience? I'm like, hell yeah, I can. Let's do this shit, you know?
Are you participating in this year's analog conference?
Oh yeah, dude. I'm gonna be there. Yeah.
Nice. I'm a flight director for a mission this May, and then so I have to miss it because I was trying to go this year. I missed it last year, but
Dude,
yeah.
congratulations, man. Which analog astronaut mission?
I belong to an organization called ARG, and it's attached to our school, which is APUS. We do we do most of our missions at ILMA in North Dakota, and then we do missions there twice a year.
Have you met
And then
Sarah Sabri out there?
that sounds familiar.
She's the first Egyptian astronaut. She did LunAres.
Oh
She did
no,
she did a mission with Blue Origin.
okay.
Yeah,
No,
so
I don't. Yeah, the name
well,
sounds
she's out
familiar,
there.
but
She's doing her doctorate. She should be finished this year with her doctorate at North Dakota.
oh, look her up.
Yeah,
Let's move on to, is it Icy? Was that your
ICEES.
next? So I'm not familiar with that.
That one was fucking wild. Like I love my Amsterdam European like Euro analog astronauts. They're so fucking like they're so interesting and creative. They think totally different. Like they're not Americanized. They're literally like nomads. And it was crazy because my mind is going in all different places. But long story short, they're like, we would love for you to be our artist in resident for this program, and create music and be a part of this journey. And so it's so cool to just be the guy that just gets to create music because it's like, I'm not just creating music, like I'm working with the software engineering team. I'm working with the drone guy. I'm making food for like 20 people. I'm going out there and testing out the EVA systems and the spacesuits. I actually supported, the human factors team with like their strength conditioning, their running, their breathing, their nutrition and stuff like that. And so that gave me a total different lane. It's like, even though I'm like artist resident, it's like, yeah, but like I'm fucking touching everything. Well, we literally rented out a farm in the middle of Sletavid, like an hour from Reykjavik in Iceland, with like 32 rooms. And we had people from 16 different countries like fly in. We had like 6 little like European cars. And we had like analog astronauts. And in this mission, I actually was on the MCC team, so mission control team. So um, I didn't get to operate as one of the analog astronauts living in the cave, but I got to test out all the systems, go to the caves, prop up the, satellites and the drones and the surveillance systems, and then work with them through surveillance like at 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock at night, make sure that they were safe and like no like, UAPs came and like zapped them. So it was so fucking sick. We actually, did partnership with ESA on that one, so European Space Agency, and set, direct, R&D back to the premises on that. It was so fucking cool. It was so dope. It was 17, 20 days, 24-hour surveillance support and like, mission dynamic situations. Some of our analog astronauts, they were literally set up under a cave in Iceland, like a dormant volcano, like with the possibilities of like lava flowing through. And we actually had to get a certificate bought from the people that own the land from Slate David so that we could actually set up that system, piece of paper. And we're like, we can go in the caves. And
So is it not used regularly as an analog habitat? It's something that it was created for that particular mission?
no, we were literally going into like critical, like non-safe environments to test out what it would
Wow.
feel like. Like at any point, everyone could die, kind of thing. And we're like, maybe that one works. No, that one just
That
spewed out lava. Maybe that one. Oh, that one's spewing out lava. Well, this one hasn't spewed any
Jeez.
lava out for like the last week.
For
Let's
the
try that
last
one.
week.
Yeah, like literally, we're just like testing it out, and then we're just like, and just like go in. Super cool, super wild. I don't speak to them at all, just because of dynamics of my new work and things of that nature. But I got so much love for them, and fucking love you guys. So if you see this, Astra.
Wow, that is amazing. So, what was the purpose of that mission? Why that location? What was the like some of the research that was being conducted there?
Iceland's one of those cool ass places that has all these different mechanisms to it. It has fucking lava. It has dormant volcanoes. It has ice. It has flowing water. It has the northern lights. And then it also doesn't have any reactive animals that can kill you in the middle of the night. One of the scariest things that my friends told me from Amsterdam when we were like getting ready to drive was like this like 6'5" Amsterdam dude. And I go, and it was in the middle of the dark. And I go, bro, like what's like the date? Like, do they have bears out here? And or like, crazy animals? And he just like looks down at me because I'm like 5'11", 6 foot, and he goes, the most dangerous thing here in Iceland is human. Oh, dude, the jokes were hilarious. Dude, the Europeans are hilarious, dude. We were cracking on left and right, just jokes on jokes. But we did, dude, we just shit, like we did so much stuff. It was so much fun, bro. It's literally like a giant camping trip with like people you would never do, like you'd never meet. Scientists, jet propulsion engineers, surveillance experts, product managers like within the European space and, industry, project managers, human beings who put systems and integrations together. And then we just like, put all of our stuff together and we build something cool and then we go out into the world and see if it works and we test it out. And
Yeah.
that's what I love. That's what I love about ESA. Like I wish here in the States we had more of that like fucking nomad work together. I don't give a fuck where you're from. I feel like the only way that you can get that is through the military, but then there's so many different layers of like yellow and red tape that you have to go through.
Mm-hmm.
I wish we had more of that, independent,
Yeah,
airlock
yeah,
module type stuff where it's like get people together, figure some shit out, have some fun, test it out.
yeah, yeah. 100%. What were you doing when you weren't doing MCC? Were you exploring the caves and cooking
It's
marshmallows on the lava
So we
fire?
did not we did not have marshmallows in Iceland. They had their Dorito flavors were like ketchup. They didn't even have Cool Ranch. I was making hot dogs for the squad with like bacon and like grilled onions. They're like, "This is the best hot dog I've ever had." I'm like, yeah, taste this fucking southern, Pilsner hot dog. And then I'd like toast the buns for them and put a little bit of mayo and like get some barbecue
Heck
sauce.
yeah.
They're like, "Oh my God, like I've never had a dog like this before." I'm like, "Welcome to the 25th century, motherfucker." So, and then they ended up making me like the head chef. I fed everyone for like 80% of the trip. I'm like, fuck yeah, this is cool. I get to feed you guys. I get to work on all these different projects and I get to make my music. Made some
So you were
dope
doing
ass
music
music.
too, huh?
Yeah, yeah, fuck
Yeah.
yeah. I'm the artist in residence, man. And then I got to like do a whole IG live of like, the analog astronauts in the cave. I'm like, everybody come to the cave. Everybody come on. Oh my God, I'm in the cave with analog astronauts. How do you feel? And he's like, can you give me a cigarette, bro? I've been under a cave for 14 days. I'm like, he needs a cigarette. Somebody light him a cigarette. Just like, having a good time.
And then you went to Hawaii. Tell me about that.
ICEES was sick. I mean, the guy that, created this whole, analog astronaut mission is the founder of Tetris. Like, if you've seen that Netflix, movie,
It's on my list, but if it's got a tie into the analog astronaut community, I'm in.
fuck yeah, you need to watch that like ASAP. Um, and he just like, yeah, I want to build a space, system on top of the largest active volcano in the world. No biggie, and he builds this like crazy system, 2-story, like airlock system. And I was the VP of that one. I focused in on like leadership, human factors, and I actually added a new element, which was Martian combat training. So I actually taught my team how to fight, like throw hands. Like I was working on like boxing combos and like breathing techniques, and like I focused on nutrition, along with like tech and leadership, and then the EVAs and the drones and stuff like that. So I mean, like when you're working on these analog astronaut, missions, it's not like you're just stuck in one thing.
Mm-hmm.
As an astronaut, you
Right.
got to know, 10 to 15 different things and be an expert at them. Because when you go up there and there's 4 to 6 people, it's like everyone needs to operate as if, like Spartans, as if there's like 20, 30 people,
Yeah.
and also you don't want to be like fidgeting your hands. You want to be moving, you want to be doing stuff. ICEES was great. The food was great. We came up with new recipes. I came up with like new ideas like on how to make things, when we, ran out of stuff. Just the landscape is just totally different. Crazy amount of elevation up in the sky. Breathing is harder. You have to take some ibuprofen, make sure that your head doesn't swell, and
Oh.
a lot of just interesting things that happen in certain dynamic places.
I've been wanting to sign up for that, but I guess they're not active anymore. I
Yeah,
think
I
you
think
were, yeah, one of the last mission
Yeah,
crews.
I think I was one of the last ones, and I mean, I think it sucks that people aren't going to be able to experience that. But at the same time, like I'm very honored that I had the opportunity to. It's just kind of sad that more people won't be able to get a feel for it.
Did you work on your music there as well?
At that one, no, I didn't work on any music. I actually, during that mission, I got ranked like one of the top global artists in the world, like top 10 by newsletter. And I requested, because you don't have internet and some of these, you don't have phones, you don't
Right.
have any of that stuff. And so literally I had to wait like 36 hours to like get the article. And it was like one like white label link that got sent to me, and we like celebrated with like, I think it was like we had like blueberry muffins. I was like, yeah. I was like on this list with like Puso Pluma, which is like the biggest like Mexican artist like known to man right now.
Man, that's awesome. Do you have a formal training in like boxing or martial arts?
Yeah, yeah. So I've been training as a boxer for the last 3 years. I've fought with pros, with amateurs, I've fought influencers. I haven't had any. I've had some, what's it called, smoker fights, like in bars, like with, other like random people that I probably shouldn't have been
What?
fighting, and then ended up getting in trouble with my gym about. But no, I train with at Freddie Roach's gym in LA with Manny Pacquiao and his son Emmanuel.
What?
The Russians, and it's the best fighters in the world. So I train with the most elite athletes, elite boxers in the world, and I also train at another UFC gym with, the world champions in UFC. Um,
Wow.
so I use all of those techniques and breathing and fighting skills to channel the astronaut within me. If you're, I would love to go in there and fight, but I also at the same time understand how important my brain is. And to be able to do this type of work requires you to think differently. And
Yeah.
so I'm using it from a hybrid approach. I train just like the pro guys. I go on 6, 7, 8 mile runs uphill elevation. I go hike, for 2.5 hours to get the leg burn and the lactic acid. I go train and spar, 8, 10 rounds, with some crazy. I just sparred 2 dudes at the gym, one Israeli task force dude, and another dude was like 6'4", former like semi-pro basketball player, and I beat both their asses. Like I brought one dude in for one round, I pieced him up, wop, wop, pushed him out. I was like, I want him. What up? And I pushed him out. I'm like, I want him. Straight belt to ass. And then we hugged it out because we're men. We're like, hell yeah, good shit. We're like,
Yeah,
thanks,
yeah.
man, bro. That was great. I'm like, yeah, it was. So I love fighting. I love boxing. One of my dreams is like, this whole Joshua and Jake fight that's happening right now. Like
Mhm.
I actually tweeted or hit, Jake up. I was like, bro, I'll fight you. Um, I don't know about fighting Joshua. I wouldn't do that. That you get your head knocked off. But I fought some of the influencers that are on the Misfits boxing team with Jake, and I sparred with some of those guys, and I know that with the right training, I could do some great shit.
When did you move to Arizona?
About 7 months ago, 6, 7 months
Um,
ago,
have you found a gym out there
that's
yet?
what I'm actually training at. I'm training at a gym that's not a boxing gym, but I do all my boxing stuff there. And then I have Fight Ready, which is a UFC gym with like Henry Cejudo and Cortez and like Patricio Pitbull, like the UFC Bellator world champs and stuff like that. So I've gone there a couple times. I'm going to start getting more, working there. But I would love to go back to LA and start training again, like efficiently at Wildcard and go amateur and then go pro and get a couple fights and see what's up.
What took you out to Arizona?
Bro, life was kicking my ass. I got my job got furloughed, and then I was just like kind of on my own. I stopped doing the music, and I had to like cocoon, get back to base, figure out what my next steps were. I ended up coming here, man, and putting a little bit of bread together, starting my PPL, my private pilot license, and out some new music,
Ooh.
and then building this new product from scratch, which I just, got to deal with from the guys from Shark Tank. I literally, I can't say too much about it, opportunities for me to get this product into stores, Whole Foods, Walgreens, CVS, such and such, which is going to open up a whole ecosystem of products and inventions and opportunities for analog astronaut and astronauts around the world to be invested in for their, gifts and their, creative background. So it's been pretty cool.
Let's get into that. I wanted to touch on Astroland, but then let's talk about your product.
I started making toothpaste before I became an analog astronaut. But when I first did that mission and with LunAres in Poland, there were two requests that I wanted. I asked them for the ability to work on my creative space with the music. But the second part was to work on oral care in space because I was thinking about making toothpaste. And so they're like, sure. Well, I get through customs and I've got like baking soda and like activated charcoal and like fucking wires. And then like I'm also blinged out because I'm this artist. Like I got gold teeth in and I got like this big old chain and I'm like in all black, like I'm fucking yay. And they're like, TSA's like, please come over here real quick. And like I got a box of Arm& Hammer. Like they're like, what are you doing with this? I'm like, oh, I'm getting ready to do a space simulation as an analog astronaut. And I brought the baking soda so that I could create some toothpaste. And they're like, okay, and why are these wires here? I'm like, I will also be building the first analog astronaut album so that I can create it in the studio, but I don't know where the space is. And they're like, this guy is fucking insane. He's selling drugs. He's a kingpin. So they bring me like to the side, bro, and they're just like grilling me. They like brought like the Polish like Secret Service over, and they're like, just like black man with gold and Arm& Hammer and bag, and you're a drug dealer. And I'm like, nah, bro. Like I'm literally just like, I'm just trying to go to space. And they're like, try to go to space. What do you mean? Long story short, I don't know how I got into like
Oh my gosh.
that, but they let me through customs. And thank God they did, because I put all that, baking soda and activated charcoal together and flavors. And I have some really cool videos from like 4 or 5 years ago of my team testing out this toothpaste. I'm like, try this. This is like an orange cream flavor. And we're all in the kitchen, like with coconut oil and like, mixing stuff up, and they're loving it. Well, 4 years later, dude, I come up with this product. I go move back with my grandma. I cut off spending, $3,000 a month for my rent, $1,000 for my car payment, all these utility bills. And I'm like, I got to just focus in on this gift, because if I don't, I'm never going to get this opportunity. So I developed a charcoal activated toothpaste tablet designed for space. It's been tested on by 20 different astronauts on 5 different analog astronaut missions. It's a zero waste, vegan friendly product that only has 7 ingredients. The flavor is actually, it's called dark matter drip. And it's so awesome, dude. All you do is you just pop it in, you chew, and within 10 to 15 seconds, it literally goes from like washing your car at like a $7 car wash to like going to like the $49.99 a premium wash with like all the whistles and bells and like all the bubbles and the suds, because that's what happens in your mouth. Now, once it suds up, oh my God, it's
Heck
literally the
yeah.
best. You just start brushing and you're going to feel it
Let's
all throughout
go.
your mouth.
Let's
But the
go.
coolest thing about this is that it's a 7-ingredient product. No parabens, no plastics, no fluoride. It's zero waste. It's vegan. It's been tested on by astronauts. No animal cruelty to it. And with the active ingredients of activated charcoal and nanosilver, it's digestible and it's good for your biogut, which makes my toothpaste tablet a one-of-one product. Because one of the biggest issues that we face in space is that you can't spit. If you spit, you'll contaminate the ISS. And so a lot of astronauts are left with either swallowing the toothpaste, which ends up being Sensodyne Crest,
Mhm.
Colgate, and then having these, inner gut issues, or spitting it into a rash. Well, I created a product that tastes good, that can be swallowable, and becomes a vitamin for you.
Yeah, that's awesome. I could have used that when I did a mission at SAM. At Biosphere 2, Kai Stats has a analog habitat over there, and that facility, every water is recycled, and food scrap is dehydrated and fed to mushrooms. And part of the requirement coming in is that we couldn't bring your typical toothpaste. And so I ended up like asking my wife, like, where can I get like charcoal toothpaste? And then she ended up getting one from Lush. Yeah, if I would have known you had that would have been cool.
This is brand new, and it's going to hit
Yeah.
every analog astronaut mission in the world. And I plan to have this be the first tablet to be used on the ISS
Heck yeah.
and for the moon for the Artemis missions. So, yeah, man, we got some really cool stuff popping up. And, and one of the beautiful things about this is that I created it for space, but it's such a great product. Everyone here on Earth deserves something that, we can trust.
You've tested over 100 formulas. What kept you going through that process?
I was trying to see what the best flavor would be, bro. I tried lychee, I tried peach, I tried vanilla, cardamom, tried cinnamon. But really, man, dark matter drip is just like space grape. And brothers, man, we love some grape. Give me some of that grape drink. Give me some of that. I want the grape. I want the purple drink. So that's just like my way of saying, like, we fucking on the map, baby. Dark matter drip, baby. Airlock Module Podcast. Purple drink.
Oh,
Yeah.
good stuff. Good stuff.
I think this is good, and we can always do another episode another time. So keep up the great work, man. Thank you so much for allowing me to be on your show. And let me know, when you post it out. Obviously, you're getting over a cold and take some time to edit. Keep me posted.
Yeah. No, thank you. Thank you for being on the show and teaching us about a couple of the new analog sites that I wasn't aware of. Where can our listeners follow your work, or where can they connect with you?
AstrOnyx.io. That's going to take everyone exactly, where they need to go. There's a PWA app, available on iOS and Android, but then it also connects you to my products, my music, my About Me, my social media, and future AI and augmented reality products that we're working on too.
Wow.
Yeah, so check
Sounds
it out,
cool.
astroonyx.io. Yeah, man. But dude, Yuki, thank you so much for reaching out to me, man. God bless you on your journey, dude. And if there's anything I can do to support, you want to connect with some people, let me know.
Thanks, man. If you enjoyed this conversation, please take a moment to follow the Airlock Module Podcast wherever you get your podcasts, and please leave a positive review or rating. It really helps the algorithm boost the show so that more people can discover these stories and join our growing analog astronaut community. You can also connect with me on social media. I'm on Instagram, Threads, and on X. If you would like to go one step further in supporting the show, I've set up a Patreon where donations are just $3 a month. Your support helps cover the monthly costs of website hosting, editing software, podcast hosting, and other things that help improve the quality of what you hear. Every contribution goes right back into the podcast. I will also thank every contributor at the end of the show. Thank you so much for tuning in and for being part of this journey. Until next time.